guard. But it's like an evil Gollum, like Smeagol, only like bad guy. And I mean, when we finished that session, I was like, oh God, please. No more Gurren Lagann for a while. Or give me a week on either side of Gurren Lagann. So yeah, that happens occasionally. It happened with Broly. But the difference with that is I didn't immediately regret it. I didn't realize it was going to be so difficult. I'd never done anything like Dragon Ball. And so when they asked me to do this character, I'm like, sweet, I get to be in DBZ. This is the coolest thing ever. Yeah, until I started it. And then I had all new appreciation for the Chris Sabatts and the Eric Vales and the Mike McFarlanes of the world who've done 200 episodes, or Sean Schimmels, who have done 200 episodes of Dragon Ball Z. In fact, you know, yeah, you just went through 50 episodes right there. He just gave you the recap of 50 episodes. It'll actually kill you. It'll actually kill your voice. Chris Sabat, you know his voice. Real deep, resonant voice. Kurogane and in Tsubasa, you'll hear him. Vegeta Armstrong in Full Metal. He didn't used to have that low of a voice. And he'll tell you that. That's Dragon Ball Z. Now I sing. And I like to sing. And I like to sing high. And I like to have a high voice. And I actually, when I started doing, like when I did Broly, I was like, oh Lord, please, don't let me destroy my voice. And I got scared the first couple of times I did it. I was scared because I was out of commission for days and days. So I didn't see that coming, but it came. I mean, there are characters like that you're like, oh, Lord. Question?
So the wonderful internet, we're on it last night, and you wrote Ukaku's Lucky Dance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if I would use the word right because that makes it sound like really, I wrote that. It wasn't so much that, it's just I made it up. I went into the studio and it was the first session I'd ever done with these people in Los Angeles. I'd wanted so much to work on a show out there. I didn't get to work on Naruto, and then the same company was doing Bleach. And they let me audition for all the roles, and I really wanted to play Ichigo. But again, I don't live there. So for a big character like that, where there are constantly changes and pickups and things, regularly having to be there, I didn't think I'd get to play any of the lead characters. But then Ikaku came up, and they're like, "Hey, you know, read for this," and I did, and I got chosen to do it. Well, I went in for my first session as Ikaku, and usually the directors and the writers are very, very, very good, very efficient about writing everything out. If the character's doing anything, it's on the script. If the character goes, there's a little I mean, or closed mouth sigh, or clenched teeth inhale, or whatever. I mean, no matter how subtle it is, the writer has written it out on the script so it doesn't get missed. Because when you see it on screen, you know, there should be something there, and you don't want to miss it. Well, it got to Ikaku's Lucky Dance, and I'm following along in the script and watching the scene, and he starts doing his, you know thing, and I was like, hold on a second. There's nothing here. All it said in the script was, does Lucky dance? And I'm looking and I'm like, okay, I see his mouth moving. There's nothing here. And they said, well, you know, we heard that you were a songwriter. And we thought you could probably come up with something for that. He goes, listen to the Japanese. He's just basically going, lucky, 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 lucky. I'm lucky, lucky, lucky me, lucky me, lucky, I'm lucky, lucky, lucky. Like, okay, well, I can do better than that. So I'm like, okay, play it a few times. And so I grabbed a piece of paper and a pencil and kind of watched the Watch the rhythm, watch the cadence, watch his mouth flap. I'm so lucky. None so lucky as me. Because he goes, oh. And then he goes, dun, dun, dun. The other way. I'm like, that's right, I said me. And you're like, look, lucky me. You know, so I just kind of made it up. And I'm like, okay, let's try one. And they rolled it and recorded, and I did it one time. And they're like, perfect. Great, let's move on. I was like, you're kidding, really? Something else? No, that's fine, let's go on. That's why when people go, can you do the lucky dance? I go, no. Because I don't even hardly remember it. I don't remember what it was. But, that's like people ask me to do the short rants. Do a short rant. I'm like, I don't even hardly remember because I did it one time because I didn't want to have to yell a million times these short rants. So I would be like, okay, let's say the short rant to the end of the session. And then we'd go back at the end of the session and I'd be like, okay, make sure the engineer has the record level down so that when I scream, it doesn't go, you know? And we have to do it again. So I'm like, okay, is everybody ready? And I'll let it rip. And a lot of times we'd get it the first time. In that case, get it the first time because, as you know, you don't really see a lot of flapping on Ed when it's more just a rah, rah. So you kind of have some flexibility with the performance there. As long as I start at the right time and end at the right time and look frantic enough, sound frantic enough to what it looks like, they're cool. So I didn't have to do them over and over again, so I don't remember a lot of them. In fact, people will remind me of them, and I'll be like, oh gosh, that's funny. Did I say that? Like, yeah, I love it when you go, I'll break down your feet and stick them on your head. I'm like, I said that? That's funny. Somebody wrote me the other day and said that there was a line where Ed says something like, there's so many people whose asses I need to kick. Yeah. I have to make a list just to remember them all. I'm like, I said that? That's funny. Question? Yeah.
Do you have any pressure on the directors to like change a tone of a voice during a scene, or do the directors, are they like God and they have the ultimate say?
He says, Aaron says, I love this kid. Aaron says, yeah, remember what I wrote him last? Yeah. Right? Yeah. And he says, yeah, if you can reach me, short stuff. Oh, wait, but here comes the rest of it. And then he says, yep, this is usually the part where you pick me up and fling me at the fans.
Straight back and go, aww.
Yes.
We have the poster out of set.
I didn't get a chance to go get it. So, one of you needs to go.
Zachary, pick one of your PRs.
Oh, I know where it is.
Because we actually need to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So we can have a break
little
before
after
we start
12.
the movie.
Yeah. What was that last question? Oh, director. Some directors try very hard to match the original Japanese, and some are more concerned with just doing the character justice. I think it's fair to say I don't sound like Romy Park. But I'd like to think I did a good job with Ed. I don't sound like Romy. She did an amazing job with Ed. But it's different, but it's good. And at the same time, there are characters that were so spot on that the Japanese, the tone and the attitude and the character was so good. Like, okay, we've got to get somebody who can do that. We need to get somebody who can capture that. That is the director's decision. He is, as you say, he is God, if you will, in what goes down on the recording, on how the show ends up. It's ultimately up to him. I've had plenty of shows where I had no idea what was going on. The director had to tell me what he wanted because he knew where he was going and what he needed to get there.